Hi, Bill Kaiser here with the Kaiser Group, and today we're going to talk about how to prepare yourself for your emergency. Now, when we talk about preparing yourself, we mean both your physical or your body, your mental or your mind, and your emotional or your spirit. And all of these three elements here, they all kind of interplay and interact with each other. So we know that when we improve our body, both our mind and our attitude improve also. But we're going to take these one at a time. We're going to break it down. We're going to find out the most effective and efficient and most economical way to address each three of these elements so that they don't turn into obstacles for us when an emergency occurs, but rather something that we can consider an ally and take advantage of and rely on. And so we're first going to cover the body. And what we're really talking about is health and fitness. We can be healthy and we'll be fit. We can be fit, but not always healthy, because fitness is missing on a certain component, and that is nutrition. Nutrition is important, and I can say many words, spend many hours discussing nutrition. Basically, it comes down to a minimum of 3 pieces of advice for you. For most people, eating less is the first thing, because most of us overeat. We're not under-nutritionized. We aren't missing certain vitamins or minerals or certain elements that are only found in the Amazon, and if we take these supplements we're going to get healthy again. No, it's all about eating the right amount of calories, because obesity, as we know, is an epidemic in this country. And what happens from obesity is diabetes, heart disease, and a shortened lifespan. But even during your lifespan, you're certainly not living at the top of your potential or able to engage in recreational pursuits, let alone an emergency, what the kind of energy that would require. So we want to pay attention to nutrition if we eat less, if we eat mostly vegetables and fruits, and if we eat smaller portions throughout the day. Okay? So that's the nutrition part of it. To the health and fitness, fitness is real easy. We can take the letters FIT, F for frequency, I for intensity, and T for the time. So when we talk about FIT, the frequency should be not less than 2, preferably 3 days a week. The intensity should be somewhere between 50 to 90% of our maximum heart rate. And our maximum heart rate is simple to determine. It's nothing more than just taking the figure 220, and then we minus our age, and that would equal our maximum heart rate. And if we take that maximum heart rate number, whatever that figure is, and multiply that between 50 to 90%, what we have then is our target, meaning that whatever that maximum heart rate is, we don't go less than 50%, we don't go above 90% of it during our exercise regimen. Now, how long should we exercise, or the time element? Minimum of 20 to 30 minutes, and a maximum of about 50 to 60 minutes. That's all we really need to get most of the benefits of fitness. And again, this is a moderate goal for most people. So I'm sure you can find 30 to 50 minutes 2 to 3 times a week to exercise for the quality of your life and being able to handle what an emergency would bring you. Okay? Health is basically just trying to keep all your systems. We're a combination of cells that turn into tissues, that become organs, that become systems, whether it be cardiovascular system, respiratory system, and circulatory system, our endocrine system, our lymphatic system. All the things that keep us healthy is kind of a layering of systems of our body. So if we practice good health, we keep our vices and our bad habits to a minimum, and we practice good habits and we engage fitness and nutrition, we'll go a long way to keeping ourselves healthy and ready. The other thing is the mind. Okay? Knowledge, skills, and abilities will result in a much more positive attitude. And again, you'll see if you get my book that one of the sayings that I have in the book is knowledge and skills will replace fear every time. And certainly fear is something that will inhibit the mind's ability to think clearly and to take action in a productive manner. And then lastly is spirit. And there have been countless examples and testimonials of people that had the will to live, that throughout insurmountable odds, whatever was in front of them, they refused to die. Number one, they engaged in the fact that they had a reason to live, either a loved one or a family or children or parents or a wife or husband back home that they wanted to see again. And then also the understanding that they should be trying their best to get through whatever this survival situation was. And they engaged all of their faculties and tried to make sure that panic did not replace a thoughtful, logical process. They admitted their situation. They weren't in a state of incredulousness where they couldn't believe it and so they couldn't accept it, and they turned into not a fighter, not a flighter. It wasn't the fight or flight syndrome, it was the freeze. They either balled up into a fetal position or they were not able to get through a logical process of, if A is here, then I must do B in order to get to C or to home or to safety. Okay, so they admitted it. Then C, they controlled it. Okay, as much as they could, they manipulated their environment, they manipulated their mind, and they manipulated their actions so that they could get through the emergency to a safe period, situation, or environment. E, they caused effect, meaning that they took action. And then G, they made it a gift. They thanked either their higher being that they believed in, or they thanked the situation because it was going to make them stronger, or they wanted to make sure that they could come back and tell others, here's how I did it, and here's what I experienced, so that number one, you don't go into the same situation because of the mistakes that I made prior, or number two, here's the best way to handle that sort of emergency situation. So we've got a number of elements that we need to address in order to prepare ourselves. That makes a lot of sense if you think about it. And how you address your physical, your mental, and your spiritual health is dependent on what you have at your disposal and your mindset. But I'm here to tell you that if an emergency happens, you're in much better situation if you've addressed your challenges and created these as solutions, not as obstacles.